Hello and welcome to another Overlord theory video, and this time we will discuss my favorite way to leave this world, by being destroyed by 7 beautiful battlemaids. But could Ainz Ooal Gown be defeated by the Pleiades in a combined effort? But before we answer this question, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. And with that said, let's dive into the topic at hand. First and foremost, we have to tackle a very important issue, because Ainz Ooal Gown has high tier magical and physical nullification. So if you would cast weak magic, or attack him while under the level of 60, physically that is, you would not do any damage at all, meaning that only Ainz Ooal and Overlord Omega, the 7th and least known of the sisters, would be able to do actually damage. But, and this is also quite important, and another point I want to make, we have seen in the 13th novel, when the Pleiades doppelganger, who were not as strong or as familiar with the actual Pleiades and how they fought, battled against Ainz Ooal Gown together with an evil Lord of Wrath. And even the Shizo Delta copy could interrupt the spellcasting of Ainz Ooal Gown on 2 separate occasions. And the reason for all of this is Overlord Omega, the 7th of the sisters, and a level 100 being and the only human in the entirety of Nezarec, at least in body. She will also be around to buff and augment the Pleiades, like she did when the Pleiades doppelganger fought Ainz Ooal Gown. Also, since now a level 100 being is on the battlefield, the odds are a bit more in favor to the Pleiades, to say the absolute least. And the Pleiades will also be the originals this time. And if even Shizo Delta, or rather her doppelganger, with the level of only 47, was able to successfully damage Ainz where it hurts him the most, that is during spellcasting, they all would also be a fair bit stronger than last time. 20% to be precise, since this is the penalty normally applied to any greater doppelganger. And with that said, let's take a look at the battle, and here we will have 3 different scenarios. If Ainz Ooal Gown is neither allowed to use his staff, the guild item known as the Staff of Ainz Ooal Gown, that makes him significantly stronger, and able, for example, to intimidate all floor guardians with the first level of Aura of Fear, which normally would not so much as face them. Then the lack of the staff, and of course his undead summons, would mean that he would fight severely outnumbered. The only advantage that he would still hold is that he is still stronger than the other level 100 being on the battlefield, for Overlord Omega is a support and commander class, and not designed for fighting in the midst of battle. So if Ainz Ooal Gown can dodge the Pleiades and take out Overlord first, then he can simply take out the other Pleiades one by one, eventually. But Overlord would know about this, and have the other 6 Pleiades defend her. Shizo would interrupt Ainz every time he casts a spell. Antoma would summon her insects and stay in the background. Yuri Alpha would try to get Ainz embroiled in a melee fight, where she holds the upper hand, while Lupus Regina would use fire and healing magic to keep Ainz at bay, while she herself would be defended by Ainz Gamma and Solution Epsilon, while healing those who need it. Overlord throughout all of this would coordinate them excellently, since this is what she was literally created for, to be the leader of the 7 sister formation. And she's also the one overseeing the teleportation network in the Great Tomb of Nezarec. Therefore, she would also be able to teleport the Pleiades out of harm's way, effectively making them very hard to hit. So in this type of fight, I would assume that the Pleiades would hold quite the advantage and have at least a 60% chance of actually winning against Ainz Ooal Gown. Though again, fighting 1 against 7 is quite disadvantageous for our Overlord. In the next scenario, Ainz Ooal Gown would be allowed to use his summons, and immediately the balance of power would shift in Ainz Ooal Gown's favor, A couple of Death Knights would be enough to at least ward off the more melee-based Battlemaids like Yuri Alpha, while also being able to withstand every attack with at least 1 HP. And if Naberal Gamma uses Chain Dragon Lightning, then Ainz would now know her position and could even do the same to her, hitting any other Pleiades nearby. While, and this is also quite important, his stronger summons, like the Doom Lord or the Death Empress or the Death Emperor, would seek and try to destroy Auriel Omega, who, remember, is not a melee-based Battlemaid, thus making it harder for her to teleport the Pleiades to safety, especially because she herself will need to use teleportation quite often to avoid Ainz Ooal Gown summons. And of course, even more basic skeleton infantry could make it more complicated for, let's say, Shizo Delta to get into a good fire position, because every time she tries to snipe, skeletons will attack her, though again, she has a very powerful item, her scarf, making her invisible and very hard to detect. Still, area of effect attacks, or just obscuring the sight, might be an effective counter to her. And while Lupus Regina Beta Sealing Magic is very effective against the undead, Ainz will simply summon more skeletons and zombies than Lupus Regina has mana. So in this scenario, I give the advantage to Ainz, and would see him winning with a likelihood of at least 60%. And the last part would be Ainz Ooal Gown fighting with his staff and his summons. And his summons would be even stronger. He would have even more HP and mana, and very importantly, be able to summon via his staff. So for example, a greater fire elemental, that would be likely a close peer to Auriel Omega alone, can keep her busy in melee, while Ainz Ooal Gown and his many summons would take out the Pleiades. In this scenario, I can't picture Ainz Ooal Gown losing, but never say never. That's why I give him a 95% chance of winning against them. And the Pleiades would need to get real lucky in order to win and defeat him. And with that said, now it's your turn. Who do you think would win? And why? Please let me know down in the comment section. Anyway, have a nice day, and special thanks to Order Daddy Order, Bad Guy Yi, Bad Burrito 316, Be There, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Hat, Hector Marino, Hoss, Haster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Karakos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rak Edsmeshar, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.